I've heard it 1,000 times, but this time it hit home. I already told you guys I'd been in a funk for a while. I didn't understand what the major problem was. I just felt like isolating. And my daughter sat me down, so to speak. We were FaceTiming, but she told me that, oh, Mama, I got some things I want to say. I don't want you to say anything, but I just need to say some things. And in a nutshell, what she told me is something I have heard many times from many people. And I don't argue with it, but apparently I wasn't seeing where that stuff was really playing out in my life. And what she told me was a couple of things. Number one, that I need to be easier on myself. I need to be kinder to myself. Basically, I need to forgive myself about the past. And she said, look at your kids. She said, we're all thriving. Your grandkids are magnificent. They're all thriving. None of your grandkids have had to go through the trauma that you went through, or had parents that went through what you went through. She said, God has taken care of us in spite of what you've been through. And she told me that she and my son love me, that they're proud of me, and they're happy to have me in their lives. Now, she prayed for me, and she's prayed for me a couple of times while I was going through this. I wasn't feeling nothing, y'all. It was like something in me was cut off. But I did notice that even though I was feeling cut off and didn't really want to deal with anybody else, it was mostly directed for her. Now, I never specifically told her that, but I came to realize that I really didn't want to talk to Keisha. I didn't want to get into any long conversations, any deep conversations. Frankly, if I'm just going to be honest with y'all, I felt like I can't listen to anybody else's trauma. I can't listen to anybody else's challenges in that regard. And so I just kind of was irritable and over about my, look, I'm telling you how bad it was. I cussed out Alexa. I'm going to just tell y'all the truth. I cussed Alexa out. Now, who cusses out Alexa? All right? I knew I was in trouble when I cussed out Alexa. Now, do with that what you want. So, for some reason, she told me this. I listened. I knew that when I hear things, the same thing over and over again, that there's something in it. And she prayed for me, and she basically used the word whirlwind when she prayed for me, that she wanted this revelation, this healing to come like a whirlwind. Now, from the standpoint of me having to forgive myself, to be kinder to myself and more forgiving of myself, so my thing is, nothing gonna be easy. This is going to be a process. I'm not looking for God to wave a magic wand over me and all of a sudden I've got that healing. Now, where that sounds like a realistic point of view, in my case, in this specific situation, I had to wonder how much of it really was coming out of my past trauma, my you made your bed so lie in it standpoint, my failure to forgive myself all these many years later. And so as I began to kind of ruminate on that and think about what she said in light of her prayer, then I just left it to God. Okay, I could be wrong. Maybe this is not going to be a process. I know he can do what he want to do. He can make it happen overnight if he wants to. But for some reason, I would never in my psyche expect that to be my experience. I'm pulling out my journal because within 24 hours, I got some revelations. This is the most powerful one. Now, first, the way I'm writing these down is I would get a revelation, and then behind it, I would make a prayer. Revelation number one, and it's the most powerful one. And as you watch me, as you listen to me read this, think about your own experiences. There are desires I won't allow myself because I don't think I deserve them, let alone even dare to ask God for them. Now, let me expound on that. What was going on? What was going on when this happened? Oh, okay. Some of you all might know Mikkel Jancy. I did a reaction video on her a couple of years ago, and she and I have kind of kept in touch since then. Go to her channel, Mikkel Jancy. What happened was I was watching her wedding video. Now, her husband's name is Jordy. And as I listened to Jordy's vows to her, they wrote their own vows. And as I was listening to his vow, well, I'll see if I can put a clip. If I can put a clip in, I'm going to put the clip in right here, and then I'll be right back.
Mikkel, you're looking at the luckiest man on the planet, and everybody here knows it. I met you around 10 in the morning, and by lunchtime, I knew that I wanted to marry you. When I was driving away from the apartment after that weekend, Jake Smith, who's now a groomsman, said, "You're going to marry that girl, aren't you?" And I answered, "Yes." Here we are. When our couples therapist asked why I wanted to marry you in one of our sessions a little bit ago, I could have said a million things that would all be true. But what I settled on are these two reasons. First, that you have this deep, deep well of kindness that never, ever runs dry. And second, I know that whatever life throws at us, you and I are always going to have a really good time hanging out. I love you so, so, so much. You're kind, tender-hearted, loving, generous, hardworking, brilliant, funny, fun, endlessly giving, forgiving, and stunningly beautiful. So, Mikkel, on our wedding day, I vowed these things. I vow to love you every day. I vow to try my very best to see you and to cherish you. I vow to try to find ways to make your life easier. I vow to carry your feelings and the desires of your heart to the best of my ability. I vow to protect you emotionally, physically, socially, and to protect your energy. I vow to adopt Max as my own son. It's a dog. I vow to accept your past as my own so that we can move forward together. I vow to make you feel beautiful. I vow to advocate for your needs, whether you voice them or not. I vow to do annoying tasks daily and to pull my weight around the house. I vow to lead spiritually and do my part in keeping us connected to the Creator. I vow to do my best to build a healthy family with you. I did the math, and I vow to write you somewhere around 5,000 songs. In the years ahead, when life gets hard, because it always does, I vow to put in the work for us to fall back in love with each other. I vow to go to couples counseling with you. I vow to have hard conversations with you. I vow to be honest with you. And I vow to sacrifice whatever I need to sacrifice to protect our marriage. I vow to be faithful to you. I vow to stay emotionally open and connected together throughout our marriage, no matter what happens. I vow to love our future children as well as I can. I vow to support your dreams and help make them come true. I am so, so blessed that I get to spend my days with you. You're my favorite person, and I love you.
So as I listened to those vows, this is what came to me, is that there are desires I won't allow my heart to have because I'm stuck on that I do not deserve them. And that failure to think I deserve them is based on the fact that I won't forgive myself, that I'm holding myself to a higher standard. So basically she was saying, be as kind and forgiving and supportive of myself as I am with others. And as you can see, he was recognizing her for who she was. And there's a backstory there because when they met, they were both fresh out of long-term relationships. They had both decided that they weren't going to get into another relationship. And her relationship ending was more traumatic. And she went into this period of healing where she didn't focus on what the wrong that was done to her. She focused on, how did I get into this? What kind of mindsets do I have? Where do I need to grow? And in his vows, as you can see, is that he was acknowledging all of that, but seeing the true her in the middle of that, and just the love that was in those vows. And having watched this couple evolve over time, it just struck me that maybe the fact that I've been single for 10 years, that I have not dated for 10 years after coming out of a traumatic relationship, maybe it's because I don't think I deserve that. Now, anybody been following this channel knows it. It's always me talking about, I've got to heal first. I got to make sure that I've got the right point of view, that I know who I am. All of that is good and beneficial. But what's important in the things that we do is, what is the underlying motivation? What is the underlying motivation? You can do all kind of good stuff for all the wrong reasons, okay? And as long as you're doing good stuff for all the wrong reasons, maybe it's benefiting somebody else. It's not benefiting you. And it was a heck of a revelation for me to realize that maybe that 10 years of just being alone and isolating and not want to date, I need to determine how much of that is because I don't think I deserve to be loved. Major revelation. So in the context of my failure to forgive myself interfering with the desires of my heart, my prayer behind that was, God, please create the desires of my heart. Make them after your own heart. So in other words, this is me submitting to him that maybe I won't allow myself to desire the very good things he wants for me because I don't think I deserve them. And so I wanted him to create in me the desires of my heart because I'm not capable of that right now. I know some people going to sit here and argue with me. God ain't going to, don't tell me what God is and ain't going to do in my life, okay? This is the deal. He gives us free choice. None of this interferes with that foundational universal truth. And I have made the choice that if indeed the desires of my heart are being interfered with based on the fact that I don't think I deserve it, to that extent, make my desires your desires for me. Major revelation. Because I could have sat up here from a psychological standpoint, like I have many times before, and talked about the importance of our forgiving ourselves. But the key of this is that somewhere deep down, we get into this default mode of that's just the way it is. And we don't recognize that what it is ain't good. So I am submitting to God in this. I want him to show me what the good things and the desires he has for me. So in other words, he said, I know the plans I have for you, Jeremiah 29:11. And his plans will indeed be interfered with based on our free will and our choices. So I'm willing to facilitate all that good in my life by allowing him into my heart to show me what his desires are for me, as opposed to what I won't allow myself to even pray for because I don't think I deserve it. Okay, that's revelation number 1. Take a minute right now to click that like button. Consider sharing this episode. And most of all, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Now back to the episode. Revelation number 2. My attitude was driving a wedge between me and my daughter because my freedom was in her mouth. I'm going to read that again. My attitude was driving a wedge between me and Keisha because my freedom was in her mouth. See? No, Don't want to talk Keisha. Don't want to talk Keisha. Okay, y'all. So she's telling me stuff I've heard a million times. But there's always that one word, that one time, at the right time, where the revelation of it all comes to fruition. And that revelation and that coming to fruition had to happen through Keisha. And this should not be a surprise to me because I write in the book about the fact that very seldom do I automatically dislike somebody. Okay? Very seldom. And every time that has happened where there became a wedge between me and somebody in the past, that person wound up being a divine connection for me. That person wound up facilitating God's destiny in my life in one way or another. That one person that was offensive to me. That one person that I just didn't like and couldn't quite tell you why. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about this as some intuition that was telling me something. This is not that. This is about people that I just didn't like. Because they were breathing. Got on my nerves. Okay. So this revelation number 2 should not be a surprise to me. I should have known at the moment that the focus became between me and Keisha that there was something there that was trying to block another divine revelation that had to come at this time out of her mouth. Take a breath. Okay, the prayer behind revelation number 2. Thank you, God, for your grace. So in other words, thank you for being patient with me, not decide now, forget it. I'm tired of putting up with Linda. She wants to be stuck on stupid, so forget about it. She can get it or not. I'm not even going to deal with it. His grace to allow me to get into a position where he could get to me through the person who he had divinely placed to get to me. I'm just telling y'all this because, do what you want. But I'm wondering how many people can relate to this. How many people do you have the behind with for absolutely no reason that might be the key and a divine connection for you? Whether that's resources to make the dream come true or encouragement that you need or wisdom that you need or guidance that you need, whatever it is, how many people are cut off in the master plan because we got an attitude and we don't want to hear it from them? I could preach all day, so let's go on to revelation number 3. Revelation number 3. 2024 is the year to recognize and root out offenses in our souls, because if we do not, we miss what's coming in 2025. 2024 is the underplay for the overplay. Let me explain that. My ex-husband used to always say when he saw a situation where somebody was being distracted from reality, okay? Distracted from something that they really needed by somebody who was trying to be that distraction. And he would call that the underplay for the overplay. So in other words, I'm distracting you from this because I don't want you to get what the end game is. So I'm going to be that underplay, keep you distracted, because the overplay is the good that I'm keeping you from getting to. And 2024 could be the year where it's not all about what we're going to get. It's all about how we're going to position ourselves. Are we going to position ourselves to a point where we don't allow offenses, which is the thing that kept me from getting from Keisha what I needed to get from Keisha, total offense. Okay. Maybe I have to do another video on what all offense is, because offense, honey, it wears all kind of different costumes, but that's another matter. So this is my revelation only. I want to hear no arguments about God, this God, that, God speaks to all of us differently. And so that revelation about 2024 being underplay for the overplay, and the fact that we need to keep ourselves out of positions of offense, because then we cannot hear the wisdom that God has chosen to get to us through other people. If that's how he plans to do it, that's how he plans to do it. And maybe a lot of us are missing stuff because we out here waiting for some great big voice from the sky or some major occurrence to happen, so that it was God talking like in the 10 Commandments. And if the issue is that wisdom has to come through a divine connection and a master plan, and that means it's coming through another human being, and we got all offensive and don't like them and don't want to hear what they got to say and want to accuse them of being jealous or having some kind of ulterior motive, then we miss that wisdom and that truth that we need to move forward into whatever it is we're supposed to be doing. So that was my third revelation. And I didn't write down a prayer for that one. So my prayer would be, Lord, please open my eyes to my own offense and help me to have my ears constantly open for your wisdom, no matter how you bring it to me. Editing Linda here. There is a prayer written down for that. It says, Dear God in heaven, show me myself. Lay me bare and give me the grace to change what needs changing quickly. Now, this is the deal. This deep-seated, rooted thing in me goes all the way back to childhood. And I have got to learn how to recognize when that's creeped into my psyche, because it's covert. It's not about that this thing happens and I see it coming, or neon light talking about you're getting ready to get distracted, or you're getting ready to get offended by something that's going to block. No, I have got to learn how to see that in myself so that it doesn't hold me back from praying for things that I don't think I deserve. I mean, there's just so many different levels of this. The one that came to me happened to be on a relationship level. Now, I ain't going to tell y'all. Okay, so I ain't gonna tell y'all I'm out here and so freaking ready to get married and da. You know, I ain't there yet, but at least I'm open. Okay, and so, that's what happened. Since then, I haven't felt that pull of irritation and anger. Is almost like, I'm kind of free from that, but I'm also paying attention to the things that I won't even let myself dream of. Isn't that deep, y'all? How trauma can make you so that you dare not even pray for certain things. And I challenge you to see how maybe that dynamic is playing out in your life. I don't know if yours would be rooted in the inability to forgive yourself. It could be rooted in any aspect of how you function around trauma or how you coped with it in the past. It could be centered around all of that. So I just challenge you to see if any of these revelations ring a bell with you, and challenge you to see if maybe you're not allowing your heart to desire something that would be good for you, that could be affirming to you and fulfilling in your life. And whether on any level, is it business? Is it relationships? Is it family relationship? What is it? It could be a million different things. Don't get stuck on what it was for me, right? Just think about it. I'd be interested in you guys' thoughts below. I'd just be interested in your perspectives and how you might see something in your life based on what I just said. But always remember, your greatest power is always realized in the truth of who you are, and know that truth. Take a minute right now to click that like button. Consider sharing this episode. And most of all, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks.